Hello, everybody. This week we are watching The Social Network, a movie directed by David Fincher, starring Jesse Eisenberg and Andrew Garfield and Justin Timberlake, which is a really weird cameo. In my mind, David Fincher is a very big film bro director. I feel like everybody that is obsessed with films knows every David Fincher movie ever and loves every David Fincher movie ever. And I've been going back and forth on whether or not I wanted to maybe start a little series on my channel watching the very basic or generic film bro movies. So if you guys want to see that, comment down below. I have watched The Social Network before, so there might be a little bit of quoting in this movie. Not as much as last week's video, 10 Things I Hate About You, but still a little bit. Of course, I'm going to be quoting the iconic monologue of Andrew Garfield at the end. Without further ado, let's just get into it.
Or you get into a final club?
Or I get into a final club.
I kind of want to know how those two got together in the first place. How did he get her? You know what I mean? I feel like she doesn't really like him in this, or in the movie at all, honestly. She's only in a couple scenes, but every scene she's in, it looks like she doesn't really like him. So I want to know how he got her in the first place, because she is kind of the reason he started Facebook in the first place. Her breaking up with him was the reason this whole thing started. This whole movie is kind of based on. I wish we had a little bit more backstory on these two here.
My friend Eduardo made $300,000 betting oil futures one summer, and Eduardo won't come close to getting in.
The fact that he's he would never even get close to getting in, and he actually does end up getting in, and Mark doesn't. I love that. I've been on a little bit of a Jesse Eisenberg binge lately. I watched the Now You See Me movies, or is that what they're called? Yes, I think so. I'm pretty sure it is. He in this movie is just so douchey. Mark Zuckerberg is so douchey, and I always wonder when I watch biopics, which isn't very often. This is probably one of the handful of biopics that I've seen. I wonder if this is actually how Mark Zuckerberg acted, or if it's just getting played up a lot. A David Fincher film. I've seen a couple David Fincher films now, and I always know when I'm watching a David Fincher film. I love the coloring that he uses. He uses a very warm tones, yellow, greenish hues. And I don't know, it's something about that I do love. I can always pick it out. Or even if it's a film not directed by him and somebody uses a greenish warm tone hue or color grading, I always just think of David Fincher. So I feel like he's trademarked that coloring to him.
It's because all be you girls are bitches.
Zuck on it. What a name for your blog. Zuck on it.
She's a 34B, as in barely anything there.
I want to welcome you all to Phoenix Club's first party of the fall semester.
Hey, Andrew Garfield.
We're ranking girls.
You mean other students?
Yeah.
You think this is such a good idea?
This is actually truly such an insane thing to do. Picking women and having them, dude, who's hot or not, you're insane. It's because a girl broke up with you, you're gonna make it everybody else's problem. You're crazy.
Very unusual amount of traffic to the switch at Kirkland.
You're saying it's unusual for 4 a.m?
No, this would be unusual for halftime at the Super Bowl.
It's also crazy to me how that it got so much traction in such little time. I feel like it's only been a couple hours.
Is there any way to make this a fair fight?
Oh my god. Forgot that he was even in this movie. Swear to God, I will be watching some random movie or some random TV show and he just pops in. He's in the most. I was watching Gossip Girl for the first time. I know I'm probably the last person to watch Gossip Girl for the first time, but I didn't know he was in there. He was in a whole season too. He just pops in the most random movies, and I hate it.
Cameron Winklevoss, Winklevoss. Cameron spelled the usual way. Tyler Winklevoss, Tyler spelled the usual way, and my last name is the same as my brother's.
I feel like David Fincher did a great job at making it so believable that they were twins and not the same person. When Lindsay Lohan did it in The Parent Trap, my mind was blown. My 8-year-old mind was blown that they're not actually twins. And I feel like in some TV shows or movies that do this, that have one person playing twins, it it's not believable. They never like touch or interact to make it seem like it's two separate people. But in this movie, there's certain times where like an arm will be like on top of each other. One of their arms will be on top of each other. And I don't know, I just feel like it's so believable that this is two separate people, not just one person. Something else I think that is great about this movie is the way that it's broken up. The scenes with the lawyers in the room where they're questioning Mark Zuckerberg, and like the flashbacks. If it's present time in the movie, it's when he's talking to the lawyers. And I think they do a nice job of breaking it up. In some movies that have a lot of flashbacks, I can get kind of confused about where we are or like what the present time is. But I feel like he does a very good job in this of making it flow really nicely and making it not seem like too back and forth from present time to the past.
The system uses one-level page tables that start at address hex 400. Maybe you want DMA on your 16-bit system. Who knows? The first.
I always thought that was such like a weird like note to pass somebody, like such a weird way to put it. Like I feel like it could have just been like a fuck you. Like that's such a tried and true insult. Like never really liked that. Not like calling him a dick or anything. That's totally justified. No, it could have been a better insult. Could have been something more creative.
A sandwich or something?
Okay.
Mark,
Yeah.
we were talking
I
about.
love that they just have like whole on sandwiches just somewhere like in their fridge or something, like pre-packaged like somewhere to give to people. I love that.
You guys were the inventors of Facebook.
You'd have
You'd
invented
have
Facebook.
invented Facebook.
See, I feel like I don't have a problem with what he did to the Hammer twins and the other dude. I can't remember what his name is right now. But, like, I don't know. I kind of agree with him. Like, if you were smart enough to do it, you should have done it. You had this great idea. Why didn't you do it yourself? And he didn't really owe them anything. I don't know. They just brought him in just to use him to create their website in the first place. It's not like they already had a relationship. They were already friends or anything like that. So I feel like what he did to them wasn't, I don't know, it wasn't really bad. And what he does later to Eduardo is a whole different story. That's a whole different situation. What he did was so fucked up to him.
It's ready.
It's ready?
Yeah, right now? That was it. And here's the masthead.
You made a masthead.
Yeah.
Eduardo Severin, co-founder and CFO.
Yeah.
You have no idea what that's gonna mean to my father.
Sure I do.
The fact that he's like, yeah, I know how much it means to you, and it didn't matter at all in the end is crazy. That's also crazy. He has his whole face in like the banner of the Facebook on the website. That is so like narcissistic. It's giving the same vibe as people who have like themselves as their background of their phone, like not them with their friends or with their family or anything like that, but like just solely a picture of them.
He'll send a cease and desist letter.
What's that gonna do?
What, do you want to hire an IP lawyer and sue him?
No, I want to hire the Sopranos to beat the shit out of him with a hammer.
Look, I'm not saying I condone violence. I don't at all. Like, if they would have actually, like, beat the shit out of him, I don't know that I would blame them too much, if I'm being honest. I know I just said that he didn't really owe them anything, and I still don't think he does. But I would understand where the Hammer twins are coming if they wanted to beat the shit out of him.
I'll be right back.
Called me a bitch on the internet, Mark.
That's why I wanted to talk to you. If we
On
could
the
just...
internet.
That's why I came over.
Comparing women to farm animals.
I didn't end up doing that.
Didn't stop you from writing it. As if every thought that tumbles through your head was so clever it would be a crime for it not to be shared.
She's like the only one in the beginning of the movie who like kind of calls him out. Like everybody else just lets him be quite honestly rude to them, and she doesn't let him like walk all over her. Everybody else just lets him say whatever because he's smart and he has this like business that's gonna make so much money, or they think it's gonna make so much money, and she doesn't really care. And I feel like that's also kind of what he needed, to be humbled by her a little bit. So I love her. That's all I had to say.
Can you come out here?
Just a second.
There's a snake in here, Amy.
What?
How did that make her get out of the shower? Like, you really thought there was a snake in your house? Girl, you go to Stanford. Don't fall for that. I feel like Justin Timberlake was a random choice to cast in here. I don't think he's in any other movies. I know was part of the boy band. And like, acting wise, like, why we couldn't have found anybody else? I don't know, maybe I'm just not like the biggest Justin Timberlake stan or whatever, but I feel like just a random like side quest for him to be on, to just star in this movie.
Hey, you know what? Settle an argument for us. I say it's time to start making money from the Facebook, but Mark doesn't want to advertise you. Who's right?
Neither of you yet. The Facebook is cool. That's what it's got going for it.
Yeah.
You don't want to ruin it with ads because ads aren't cool.
Exactly.
I get where both of them are coming from. Like, I get like it's not cool, and he didn't want to like, I don't know, lower the like quality of the Facebook or whatever. From Mark's standpoint, like, he hasn't put any money in either. Like, Eduardo has put in thousands of dollars at this point. It's a lot to be like, I don't want to make ads on it, I don't want to monetize it because that's not cool, but like, you also have not put any money towards this at all.
Well, Mark doesn't care about money, and he needs to be protected.
It sucks that he was like so adamant that Mark needed to be protected, like when Mark was fucking him over. Like, he's such a good guy. He didn't deserve what was coming for him. I feel so bad.
In all honesty, I thought they were my lawyers. I was your only friend. Yet one friend.
I feel like everybody always talks about like the iconic monologue that Andrew Garfield gives in the next couple of scenes from this. But this moment has always like stuck in my brain. I was your only friend. You had one friend. Like, that to me, I don't know why, I just like that a lot more than the whole, I mean, don't get me wrong, I like the monologue as well, but that moment, like, the heartbreak and the betrayal, it's just so good. I feel like I would have made the same mistake, like with the whole business thing. Like, I too would have thought that they were my lawyers as well, and it's just so sad. I feel so bad for him.
Mr. Sapp.
Mark! Mark!
What was Mr. Zuckerberg's ownership share diluted down to?
It wasn't.
And what was your ownership share diluted down to?
0.03%.
Even his lawyers right now, like, even they know what he did was so fucked up. Like, legally, he might be in the right and he wasn't wrong in that aspect, but like, morally, like, that's so messed up. It's so messed up, and they know it now too. That girl at least knows it.
It's gonna be like I'm not a part of Facebook.
We were gonna let you parade around in your ridiculous suits pretending you were running this company.
Sorry, my pradas at the cleaners! Along with my hoodie and my fuck you flip-flops, you pretentious douchebag!
Security's here.
You better lawyer up, asshole. Cause I'm not coming back for 30%. I'm coming back for everything.
Here's your $19,000. I wouldn't cash it though. I drew it on the account you froze.
I like sitting next to you, Sean.
Makes me look so
Makes
tough.
me look so tough.
In the beginning, when I said the Hammer twins like deserved to beat Mark up, Sean Parker also deserved to get beat up right in that moment. He also needed to get humbled. Again, I don't condone violence. I don't condone hitting people, and I'm not saying to go punch everybody you have a problem with, but they both needed to get humbled, and it's a shame that they didn't in this movie. That's all I think, at least.
Mackie.
Yes, sir. Refresh.
He got his million people, but at what cost? He lost his best friend, his one friend, his only friend. Thank you guys so much for watching this week's video of Social Network. If you guys liked it, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe. I am posting every Thursday, so if you don't want to miss out, subscribe. Comment down below if you guys want any other movies, or if you'd be down for me maybe doing a little series, a little Film Bro series where I watch some like cult classics, some or like the basic Film Bro movies. I mean, yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next Thursday.